Welcome, everyone. Municipal Council meeting, regular meeting, Wednesday, January 26th, 2022, 7 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Let's stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris. Here. Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmembership Freeman.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Sentinel, and Desi Talk on November 25th, 2021, and posted in Main Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council members, number 4, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the reorganization meeting of January 5th, 2022, and B, the combined meeting of January 12th, 2022. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion to
I have Margot, Ms. Harris,
seconded.
and second, Councilman Patil. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Just some brief council president remarks. I first just want to say I'm sorry to hear one of our good friends and former Deputy Chief Bakarian, Angela Bakarian, passed away today.
Oh, wow.
And this is news to me this afternoon. So prayers to his family, and we're terribly sorry. He served Edison for over 40 years and was not just a friend to the community, but also he did a spectacular job as Deputy Chief. So again, I'm sorry to hear this. I just want to also just some quick remarks I think we'll appreciate. I'm sorry we didn't get this on the last agenda. I just want to congratulate our Edison High School cheerleaders. On January 22nd in Dallas, Texas, our own Edison High School cheerleading team won second place at the 2022 NCAA High School National Game Day co-ed small varsity category. Head coach Nicole Gregory and coach Celine Yernick. It was a wonderful opportunity, and I think we should certainly commend the work behind cheer. For those who don't know, it's a sport. It's certainly a difficult task to bring on the cheer for these games and sports out there. The men and women who choose to be involved, I thank them very much. I also want to thank the cheer squad and congratulate them, also receiving special recognition for the superior sportsmanship and best use of tumbling. The Sportsmanship Award is really something to be proud of. They represent Edison very well, so congratulations.
Council President,
Yes.
can I make the request, can we recognize all these individuals for their hard work and effort and taking Edison Township's name at the national level?
Yes, a resolution, Council President?
So we can do the resolution, or next council meeting, if you coordinate, we can give the proclamation and recognize their work.
Marlene, you're already handling that? Yeah, thank you, a great idea. Thank you, Councilman Patil. Mayor proclamation and a council. Okay, fine. From the administrative agenda, need a motion to pass several board positions on the planning board. Council members, we're going to do each one by one. We'll go with A. Madam Clerk, can we do a roll call on A? Johnson.
We need a motion and a second, and I think it's all in favor, Bill, right?
No, we're not.
a roll call.
Okay.
We're voting.
If you're gonna do them separate, I would assume there's a reason why you wanna do it separate. so
Oh,
it's
okay.
probably better to
All
do
right.
a roll call.
All right, well, we still need a motion
All right.
first.
I move to confirm this appointment.
Right, and who's going to second?
Second.
Second. Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmembership Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. B, we have another reappointment. Need a motion to approve B for the planning board. A motion on the table?
You want one by one?
Yeah, one by one. I'm sorry.
One by one.
Mr. Brescher asked to do one by one.
Okay, sorry.
Motion to approve?
Councilman Pointer, in a second.
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Brescher.
Abstain.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Petil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. C, we have an appointment to the Planning Board for a Class 4 member. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to confirm this appointment.
Thank you, Councilman Harris. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Councilman Patil, second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Brescher.
Abstain.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Appointing another member as a Class 4 member of the Planning Board. D, we have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Councilman Patil, motion, was it Patil? Or motion was from who?
Motion to approve, yeah.
Motion from Councilman Patil. Second.
Second.
Have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Brescher.
Abstain.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Madam Clerk, letter E, reappointing a second alternate to the Planning Board. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Councilman Patil, motion, a second? please?
Second.
Councilman Margaret Harris, second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Brescher.
I abstain.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Next, Madam Clerk, F, we have an appointment for a municipal judge to fill an unexpired term of Judge Mary Casey.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Councilman Patil, do we have a second? Second was Councilman Pointer or Ship? Councilman Ship?
It doesn't matter.
Freeman, Councilman Ship Freeman is a second. Council members, Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Thank you, council members. Number 7, approval of volunteer firefighter. We have motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Councilman Patil, a second, please.
Second.
Councilman Harris. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That was 2, we had 2 there on that list. Okay? Confirm. New business, Madam Clerk?
Ordinance accepting dedication of the roadway formerly known as 100 and 106 Ethel Road, Block 20, lots 4F and 4M, associated with application P5129, and now known as Plenge Court, and authorizing an agreement between the township and DCK Developers LLC in connection therefore with.
Can motion to introduce from the floor?
Motion.
You gotta read that.
I move this ordinance to be passed on first reading, published according to the law for further consideration and a public hearing set down for the next council meeting. What date would that be?
February 9th.
February 9th.
Do you have a second, Madam Clerk?
Second.
Second, Councilman Harris.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. We're going right to the public comments? You have a list? Okay. We're going to open up the public on the comment for resolutions only. If any member of the public would like to comment on the resolutions only, please raise your hand. Please.
Good evening, Dr. Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. I support the resolution appointing Councilman Pointer as the member of the planning board. I know he'll do a good job and a thorough job, as I've seen him do in the past. While I support that resolution, I'm not sure how I feel about the other resolutions for the zoning board. I want to be clear, my concerns that I have are not about individuals, but a group. I see the zoning board as the first layer of protection for residents, and therefore I believe it has to offer the strongest protection for our communities and our township residents as a whole. The way I see it, the zoning board should be built on different professions and people from different zip codes. It should not be skewed one way or another. With the proposed appointments of today, the zoning board will comprise 50% of individuals who have backgrounds in real estate or development. It could be even higher, as I could not figure out all the backgrounds of every single professional, so there's 2 or 3 that are missing. I'm curious to understand why there's a huge group of realtors and developers on the zoning board. Nowhere in the application is there a requirement, yet there's a hefty weight of individuals from those professions. This is unnerving, especially when those professions offer a conflict of interest. Residents are tired of battling developers that continue to exploit our outdated master plan. I've met with many individuals and stakeholders that have fought against developers with respect to the Charlie Brown Townhouse, Silver Lake, Little Grocery Store, and many more. But interestingly enough, I did not remember seeing anyone that was from any one of these groups that I've mentioned. Again, I need to emphasize that I do not know most of the members on the zoning board. There might be some great, awesome people there, but that does not matter, that the fact that the zoning board is heavily weighted with a polarizing group of which, when it comes to the Mayor Joshi's master plan, where he wants everyone, not a group, to represent the communities. When a certain group like realtors or developers are in charge of the zoning board, it gives a terrible perception to the public that we don't have a voice. Perception is powerful and a huge deal. This is why the township is spending $60,000 on vision media marketing. Going back to zip codes, there is a perception by those that live in 08817 that they do not have an equal representation, as they see that 08820 seems to have a dominant representation in boards, despite 08817 having an almost equal landmass and population. When you appoint the individuals in the resolution, I want you to be aware that 75% of the zoning board will be from 08820, and only 2 will be from 08817 and 08837. So going back to perception, it isn't looking too great that realtors and developers are at the helm of this board, and it's an unequal representation for the majority of districts in this town. I'm not sure if this is done intentionally, so perhaps the council can put me at ease by discussing any one of the following. Number 1, do you take into consideration the areas members are from? Number 2, when appointing members, do you look to see if certain groups may have a majority in a committee? If you do not, why not? Please let me know why I do not have to worry about the first layer of protection in our communities being compromised. Thank you.
Council President, you want me to make any
Sure,
comments?
Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Nasir. It's valid points. In fact, let me go back to the 2 different boards. The planning board, it's Mayor Joshi's appointment, so technically this council has nothing to say into that.
Correct.
I respect Mayor's decision, so that's perfectly fine. In terms of the zoning board, in fact, I was planning to pull those appointments for the separate votes, and I fully agree with your sentiment. In fact, I did send my recommendation to Council President on pretty much similar theme. Even we never spoke about this in the past, but I do believe that it should be well diversified, not just by the ethnic groups, but also by the zip codes, so that everyone understand what's happening in their neighborhood. They can be eyes and ears of that neighborhood, and they can try to protect that. Again, having said that, it doesn't mean that this board should stop any redevelopment work. If it is good, perfectly fine. But if it impacts the several citizens, they should be the voice of the people. And that's exactly the reason we need the board, which is a neutral, not related to politicians, not the real estate agents. They should be common, simple, plain people who care about their neighborhood. Hopefully you got the answer.
Yeah, I appreciate that answer.
Thank
That's what I support, and hopefully the rest of the council does as well. And hopefully, at least you're taking that under advisement. Maybe you haven't seen that that is what's happening on the planning board, zoning board, sorry. All right, thank you.
Council President, can I make a quick statement?
Sure.
In regards to the zip code aspect, I believe one of the candidates up there is actually from 08817. I'm not sure if that was taken into account. I did speak to both individuals. I share some of the concerns during that conversation, though. Some of the concerns were eased on my end. In regards to one of them, yes, he is a Realtor, but in my conversation, he seemed very fair and balanced. And the second individual, his knowledge in regards to the engineering aspect of things, I feel will be very beneficial to the township. So I just wanted to throw that in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Porter. Is there any public comments? Please.
Oh, I just wanted to tell the gentleman I'm in 08837, so, you know, all the rest is, I mean, what is it, like 5 zip codes in Edison?
3.
Should you state your name and address, please?
Hi, my name is Lori Jordan. I'm on Golf Road. I'd like to piggyback on what this gentleman just said. So here it is, January of 2022, a new year, a lot of new council members, a new young mayor. The open space initiative passed overwhelmingly. And it really felt a few days ago like 2022 could be a new chapter for our township. And then we heard that here we are tonight, possibly discussing having a developer and a realtor on the zoning board, possibly. And it's the first appointments for the zoning board coming right out of the gate. This really feels like business as usual. This doesn't feel like a new chapter, a new era for Edison. And it's very bad optics. This past year, Edison residents have been discussing and protesting overdevelopment, bad development, warehouses, intense land use, developer overreach, and controversial planning and zoning board decisions. And many residents are alarmed and upset. There's several Facebook groups specifically dedicated to overdevelopment in various areas of Edison. We have been interviewed by newspapers, we've had a podcast, we've had rallies. This is a very hot topic right now. And to come out of the gate and say, yep, some new opportunities to hear what our residents are saying, no, realtor and developer, let's go that route. So it's discouraging, to say the least. However, there is something that this council can still do, I believe. There is a final, there's one more full-time zoning board appointment if these two folks get passed. There is one more full-time zoning board appointment available. I would urge you to appoint a civilian, someone that's going to work for the residents. Just in the last 6 months of being involved with the Charlie Brown Group, you can learn zoning theory. There is a lot to it, but it can be learned. So I don't know why a regular person whose heart and empathy is focusing on neighbors and neighborhoods couldn't serve extremely effectively on a zoning board without having a technical background. Of course that's needed. Of course it's a complicated subject, and that can be taught. But what can't be taught is empathy. There are constantly zoning board proposals for new houses, warehouses, restaurants, strip mall. How do these affect homeowners? It's the men and women, the taxpayers, who are going to have to live possibly near some of these developments. And we all know, not all development is bad. 3/4 of the stuff you see is good for the area, or very, very simple to approve somebody's, patio getting enlarged. But there have been very controversial issues in 2021. Here we have a chance to rectify that, to hear the residents of Edison speaking very loudly, and especially to the press and to each other. It's a genuine concern, and it's not coming from a point of any development is bad. I drive around all the time. I see new buildings going up. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That was an empty lot. That's cool. That looks like it's going to be something good. It's the controversial pieces where we need that resident's perspective to just look at somebody with a completely different viewpoint than a developer, a realtor, or somebody in this business. So I urge the council to choose wisely in its next zoning board appointment. Make it a decision that the Edison residents will respect you for. And I just want to close with a headline from a recent newspaper article I read. The headline read, "Cynicism can damage democracy's health." Let's not have Edison residents be any more cynical than they already are by appointing certain types of people to the zoning board. Get a fresh perspective and have that last full time and that alternate be a civilian, somebody that's just going to have the interest of the neighbors and neighborhood at heart. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Harris.
may I address Lori? Lori, I want to thank you for yet another eloquent statement. And, as you know, as you, Sandeep, know, as most of the Edison residents know, I actually live in the belly of the beast of the Charlie Brown's situation, not as much in the belly of the beast as Sandeep and some of the other neighbors, Nick Fagan, who usually comes to these meetings. But, and Lori, we had a conversation about this the other day when this news broke, when the appointments broke. In the past, it has been my understanding that these appointments have been more or less political, and that they've been made essentially by the council president and not even speaking to other council people, and then it was made more or less for political reasons. When Council President Coyle asked me to join him for the interview process, so we interviewed 10 people last Tuesday, and then Councilman Patel and Council President Coyle and I sat down. We did 3 phone interviews on, I don't remember if it was Thursday, it might have been Thursday. And so going to the Tuesday interviews, we had this pile of resumes of all very, very qualified people. It happened that for the people that we chose, those 2 really stood out. And, as you may know, I'm as skeptical or cynical about the developers and realtors taking over these kinds of boards as anybody might be. But Council President Coyle and I were very, very convinced, and we did a lot of deep questioning about objectivity and how they go about making decisions. And we felt very good about the responses that we received. And we felt that the expertise, particularly of Mr. Dave, with his background, and the fact that he also does a lot of philanthropy for Edison, and what the South Asians would call social work. We were very impressed by the wide range of experience. And for Mr. Barone, also someone who really seemed to want to make a contribution to the community. You're right that there's one other full-time zoning board member still up, as well as a second alternate. That position is still up. And your point is well taken with regard to as you put it, a civilian being put up there. And it's my intention to take a very hard look at that. So, but I do want to thank you for your remarks about this. I know you and Sandeep and the whole gang have been extremely passionate about this. And I respect that, and I respect your remarks tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Yes, and like on this issue, I would just like to say I do hear everybody's sentiments. I tend to agree with you more, I would say, than others. They did do an interview process. Anybody here that's hired hundreds of people, like I have over my career, you know that the interview process and the form of paper that you have in front of you is really what you have to go by, unless you can find some good references. When you do go through this and you do interview people, many times it's a 50-50 shot. They're good, they're not good. People that aren't good come in and can speak very well, and they go and they do something different. what I've seen here in Edison is the whole developer, realtor kind of thing. And I see where our boards have gone for the years. So I've made a commitment that I just don't want to take that chance in putting more developers or realtors, in these places. I want to have more of the regular people because we do have professionals there. I think Hank Bignell is there, and their job is to guide the civilians. Like, that's what their job is. You go for training, so that you can't just, it's not like you can be anti-development. You can't do that. Town should be in lawsuits all the time. And they explain that to you. But, having the community part of it as opposed to people that have other interests, I just believe that I can't let the fox into the chicken coop any longer. So I won't be voting any longer for, developers or realtors. I think we have too many of them involved at this point. But your point is very well taken, and I thank you for coming out to the meeting to express your point.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Please. Welcome back.
I'm in that 08817, but besides the point, I want to congratulate everybody for their winning council seats. Now I forget what I came up for. I worked for a developer for 25 years in New Brunswick, and when it comes to this professionalism, people on the board, it comes down to the interviewing process. You do need these professionals on the boards because they bring the knowledge, and the knowledge brings us the money. But my opinion is you do need professionals on that board, whether it be developers, realtors, and I'm up here all the time talking about overcrowding with Amazon and but it comes down to the interviewing process and the background check and whatever. But you do need these type of people on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the members of the public on the resolutions only? Seeing none, can I have a motion from the council?
Motion to close the public portion.
Motion from Councilman Patil. Can I have a second to close the public portion?
Second.
Can we have all in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Okay. We're going to review the resolutions for a vote. Before we have a vote on resolutions, could council members tell me if they have anything to pull from my left? John Pointer.
None, sir.
Councilman Patil.
58, 59, 83, 84.
58, 59, 53,
No, 83, 84.
58, 59,
83, 84.
83, and 84.
Okay, we're pulling 58, 59, 83, and 84. Madam Clerk? Is that it, Councilman Patil? Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Patel?
No.
None, thank you. Council Vice President Shipp?
No.
Councilwoman Harris?
None, sir.
Councilman Brescher?
Yes, 56, 58, and 85.
56, 56, and 85.
And 85.
Clarification to our Councilmember Brescher and Councilman Patil. We're pulling 56, 58, 59, 83, 84, and 85.
Yes.
That's it? No one other, no other ones?
I have nothing to pull, Madam Clerk.
Well, first, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda with the noted items removed from the vote.
Okay.
Motion moved to approve the consent agenda, except the pull the resolution.
Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 58, 59, 83, 84, and 85. I have a motion from Councilman Patil. Can I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Harris, second. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shipp Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Council members will go in order. Resolution. Madam Clerk,
This one would be
R56. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Well, you need a
A
motion.
a motion to adopt, I'm sorry.
Council President?
Yes,
Yeah, I have a question with these.
okay, sure.
And I mean, I thank Lena for spending so much time answering all my questions. Would you mind if I just run through my perception of what 56 and 58 are? When somebody doesn't pay their taxes, they get a 10-day grace period. From that 10-day grace period until the tax note is sold is what we're voting on for this percentage that we have for the 18%, right? Okay.
You need to have to go to Matt's desk, please, if you have a moment. And thank you for coming. I know it was a challenge to be here today, and thank you for your time.
Council President, if I may, I'm going to relinquish the seat so that Nina has a,
Yeah.
Lena has a.
For the
easy-
record, we won't be paying you when you're standing.
Oh, never mind then.
Hello, Council President. Mr. Brescher, yes, 59, that's what you're avoiding, the interest rate that you're going to apply for each of the quarters starting day 11 forward until the end of the year where we are going to do the tax sale. 56 is related to the tax sale, is people who already went to the process of the tax sale.
Okay. Now, once that goes through the tax sale, which is after this other one, it looks like out of 230 bidders, that only 3 people or $5,000 worth of the $5 million is at 18%. That they bid it always down to 0, of which then they also bid a premium to the township. So the township will, like on a $5,000 tax sale, they'll give a premium of $80,000 to the township, which the township gets then the $85,000. If that bidder were to foreclose, the township gets to keep the $80,000 premium.
That's correct.
If the resident corrects the tax lien, he's required to pay the original $5,000, and then the township takes that $80,000, which they put in an escrow account, and give that back to that bidder
Correct. Without the interest.
without any interest. So it'll be interest-free, and that's like 220 of what I seen. It's a majority of them. So if out of 230, it's like 220 are at 0. That's correct, right?
That's correct. And again, that 18% that they are bidding down to 0 is not related to the resolution 59 that you are voting on.
This is for the first year before it goes to the tax sale that we're voting on. It's for a one-year period.
That 18% that is being bidded down to 0 is part of the tax sale process. It's not in the hands of any of us to decide, but that is more in addition to the 8 and 18% that you're voting on today. Now, for Edison residents, because we have a very rich participation of biddings, most, you saw it, 90%, 99% of the bids goes down to 0. So it's kind of a savings for the residents when it gets to the tax sale, really, because it frees the interest 8%, 18% that you're voting on today is going to be free as of the day of the tax sale.
Right, and so the 18% is really just for a one-year period, or not even for a full year period, right? Like if I didn't pay my second quarter, at the end of the fourth quarter, you put me up for tax sale?
Correct. If you don't pay the first quarter, the second, third, or fourth quarter, any of the quarters of the year, it goes to tax sale at the end of the year in December.
Okay. It took me a while to go through that with you, and it was amazing seeing this process. Like I was saying, only government could come up with a process that's so multi-layered and complicated. But I thank you for your time and spending it with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Thank you, Alina, for that. Do we have a motion? Madam Clerk, we had a motion to adopt? Or 56?
Motion
Council
to,
President, if all three of them are together, we're still gonna vote on them
no, they are
separately
not
because they're all
together.
related?
They're separate. 58, 59 are separate.
Councilman Patil, you want to do them separate?
Yes. 58 and 59 are separate unless she wants to come and answer my questions here.
Okay, we can just, we'd have to do them, unfortunately, we'd have to.
So we're voting on 056 first?
056.
Yes.
56 first.
Okay, who's making the motion on 056?
Motion moved
Yes, I
to
think
approve
we
the
are.
resolution 56.
Okay.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes.
Okay, that's 56.
Council members will go over or 058 and we'll have a
58. I think, if the 58 questions are answered, then 59 is easy thing, that's not a big deal.
Lena, would you mind also? I'm sorry, Matt.
Thank you.
It's okay.
He wants to just have a discussion. Yeah, Matt's off. He's got 3 minutes right here. I docked him. We pay by the minute. here.
Hello, what's the question?
So again, thank you for coming tonight and throughout the day. I know you were busy finding information, answering questions that were sent by the various council people. I did send you 3 questions. In terms of the resolution 58, the first thing goes back to the council president that there were the filling the blanks on Monday night. Are we going back to what the original was?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my question comes back there. It has an interest rate of, with the slab 18% grace period, that's very standard. Year-end penalty, but nowhere it says the premium. There's no cap to the premium.
Correct.
Correct. So what that means is we are not really transparent in terms of telling the residents that what you could be really charged if your property goes on a tax sale. Again, I'll give the example. If I owe $5,000, in any quarter I miss it, and in Q4 it goes for the tax sale, and regardless of an interest, because of course it goes for the bidding, somebody bids say for 5%, and the premium ends up with say $50,000.
The premium that the bidder is giving us in the tax sale process is not part of the debt of the customer.
Understood. It is not, but that is something. It's still the hanging sword on that customer if he becomes a delinquent for another 2 quarters, 3 quarters, or maybe a year, so that the person who purchased this tax sale will continue to pay his taxes on his behalf and ultimately will foreclose this property. Correct?
That could be, but it's not related to the premium.
Understood. Again, I'm not saying that, but that premium stays with that property, even though it is not transparent. The person who owes the money have no idea about this premium at that point in time. He will only get to know when his house gets foreclosed.
I apologize, but the answer is still no. The premium does not belong to the debt of the customer at all. The premium is just between the bidder and the township. The township keep it, hold it in a trust account until the lien is redeemed in 5 years or is foreclosed. If it is foreclosed, it goes to the municipality.
So if it is foreclosed, where that amount goes, the premium?
The premium goes to the municipality if the property is foreclosed or not redeemed in 5 years.
Understood, but that's what I'm saying. If the premium is say $50,000, it comes back to the township, right?
Yes.
If it is foreclosed.
Yes.
But that money is coming from somewhere.
From the bidder at this point.
Correct. And bidder is not giving you the money just free. He's getting that money from somewhere.
I do not know how to answer that. It's not in my place to answer.
Okay. Let me again rehash this question. If I owe $5,000 in taxes, it goes in a tax sale. Somebody bids for my tax sale. He charges $50,000 premium. That premium is paid to the township. You hold that in escrow and say in 2 years, the property gets foreclosed, right? If you as a bidder has paid $50,000 to the township.
Say that again.
Okay.
Council President, can I just interrupt for a small minute? because I think I understand, Councilman Patil. I just promoted you, okay? I was a congressman last month too, but this question I want to clarify, this, we have some consensus here. If there's a property owner that has a $10,000 a year property tax, which is called 10,000 flat, and one of the quarters, the $2,500, they didn't pay, and they didn't pay for 2 years, that's $20,000. And if they're able to cure that 20,000, what would be their cost to the taxpayer in the 2 years for $20,000 not paying their taxes? Can you tell me the rough amount they would owe?
It will be the 25,000 for each year, which is 50,000, plus the interest, 8% or 18%. It goes to 18%. And plus annually, they will get 6% year-end penalty.
2%. So the person who owes 20,000 for a total of 2 years will be charged 18% for the 2 years plus a 6% penalty.
6% penalty for each of the years.
Yeah. And then the one question here, when that would be 2 years of non-payment, but the first payment they pick up is at 0, correct?
The first payment that they are going to pick up is the first 1,500 that is going to be at 8%.
8%.
The rest is going to be at 18%.
Okay. So did that help at all, Councilman Patil? Just to
It does
clarify the
help, but it
total.
doesn't address your premium issue yet.
One more thing, is the premium
Okay.
an opportunity to do business with the town? And that is just a premium like paying a bond to prove that you have the opportunity to continue paying. Is that what it's for?
That's correct. The premium only give you the right to win the bid.
You win the bid and that you can prove successfully that you can continue to pay the taxes.
The higher premium is the one bidder who wins the bid.
Okay. I'm sorry, Councilman Patil.
Can I just take a quick,
Yeah.
Council President?
Councilman Patil still, if he wants to give you the floor, he had the floor, but
No, I did.
Okay. Thank you.
So I did
Councilman
some
Ken.
research on this, and so just Lena, correct me if I'm wrong. There has to be one tax sale per year. That's for the state government. And 8% on the first 1,500, 18% on anything above the 1,500. If the total exceeds 10,000, they're charged 6% annually. And the tax sale certificate sold is up to 18%, but the winning bid is whoever can get it to the lowest. And if they get it to, I think, 1%, then the highest premium that is paid to the municipality wins the bid.
They have to get it to 0%.
0%? Okay, I thought it was 1. Okay, so whoever gets the highest premium, if it's 0%, wins that bid. And the reason I believe the municipality set it up that way, because the municipality depends on the tax coming in to pay for the schools and whatever services that we need to provide. And when they pay for this premium, I believe what happens is that if they continue, let's say if you're delinquent, continuously delinquent, and next year when your taxes come up and the premium owner or the tax sales lien owner starts paying those taxes, they can collect that 18%, whatever that's remaining, right? Is that correct?
The bidder winner, the lien holder at that time have the right to pay the taxes from now on, sewer and water, if they are entitled to it. But after the grace period is over, the homeowner still have the first right to pay if they pay during the 10-day period.
Okay, so then if they can, after the 10-day period, the holder can pay the taxes and collect that 18%, and that is why they would want to win that, and that's why they're paying that premium for 5 years to collect that 18% interest. Assuming that the person is still delinquent, they can take it to the court and foreclose the property to collect their money back, and in that case, Lena already explained.
Yes, no, I understand the whole, the pieces here, and I'm not differing what Council President said, what you are alluding to. I understand that the whole, I would say the topic came up because I remember, and thank you, Cheryl, for forwarding that 2020 and 2021 resolution. The reason the discussion started was how we can help the residents. Can we cut the taxes, right? That's where the discussion really started. And if you look at 2020, our interest rate was 0.0001%, right? And we probably gave them some break. It doesn't change any equations. The 6% penalty still stays as is at the end of the year, in spite of that 0.001%. So what my request was here, again, if you listen to me on the first council meeting, was how we can help the resident by reducing this interest rate back to the reasonable, maybe 1%, for maybe rather than 1 quarter, maybe for 2 quarters or 3 quarters. Any break that we can give. At the same time, the person who wants to buy the taxes, it's appealing to them as well. So technically, the 6% is still there at the end of the year. On top of that, if we can probably add another 4%, it's still 10%, which is much better than what the current interest rate is in the market.
You have the decision to do whatever interest you want. I could tell you that at this point, the 6% penalty is being given to the lien holder, not to the township, because of the accelerated tax sale. So if the lien holder, which is why they bid so much
Correct.
premium, if the lien holder wins a bid and the lien is over 10,000, they are getting the 10%, the 6% premium. That resolution that you are doing, the 59, includes both of the interests. That is a legality that you could do. The state of New Jersey allows municipalities to do so. You are not obligated to do so.
Okay, thank you again for that clarification, that we are not obligated. So Council President, my request is, again, it's up to this council, and I will reiterate again that the intention of the tax sale is not to make the money on the taxes that people owe. It is just to encourage them to pay the taxes back. When we do the tax sale, we do get the money that is delinquent, which is ultimately paid to the rest of the entities like the Board of Ed or the county or wherever it goes, but we are not losing the money. So the whole attempt here is 18%, 20%, 6% is to make the money on top of the people who are delinquent, right? So to me, this should not be the source of revenue for the town, and I said that in the email. We are here to help the resident, not to penalize them if they are in financial trouble. And that's where my request to this council is to go back and adopt what we adopted in 2020, not to make this as the source of the funds for this town. At the same time, it is appealing and encouraging for the tax sale purchaser who want to do that. Again, thank you, Council President.
Council President, what I think is designed here is that we don't reward people for being delinquent, so that all the good taxpayers who pay their money on time, who work hard to make sure all their business is taken care of, they should not have to lose out because other people are delinquent. I'll just give you an example. I said my exam and my paper is due on the 30th, but to all the students in my class. But the other kids said, I'll just bring mine in a month later and get the same grade. That's not fair that you do that to people. The reason why there are penalties and stuff, because of government, can't function without finance. And if you start chipping off and chipping away at different things, you lose different services. Everybody would love to always be tax-free. I mean, all of us, especially the people who live in New Jersey. We would love to, give away, move ahead. But once you allow and you lower the penalties and stuff, the companies say, oh, well, hey, we don't have to pay ours on time either, because we're going to get a cut rate. We're going to get awarded for not doing the right thing. So that's where it comes in at. We can argue and debate this forever, but the reality of it is you can't reward delinquency. It just, because government can't function that way. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Council President, I want to just answer before we go to the next council person, is as our tax assessor said that once it is tax sale, even 2020, we were able to sell 95%, right? Or 100%, year 2020.
We always sell 100%.
In spite of 0% tax.
Yes.
Correct. So that answers, so we are not losing the money. Again, I'm saying that we are not losing the money. We are not giving the break. I have voted on this resolution for good 4 years until the pandemic hit us. We are in the pandemic situation, and that's exactly the reason I brought this up. This is for the very special circumstances. If it is economy is flourishing, no problem. Charge them 18%. I'm pretty sure that. And again, Council Vice President, to your point, we should penalize people. I disagree with that if they are in the hardship. The second thing is if you're saying that we cannot function, no. Tax assessor said that, we do get that money with the tax sale. We are not losing even a dime. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to generate more revenue through the tax sale if we inflate the interest rate. And my request is just to help the residents, nothing else. We are not losing any money.
Councilman
Actually,
Keel.
it sounds simplistic, the way you're trying to
order.
put it. It sounds very simplistic, but it's not that simplistic. And the thing is that if you don't make rules and you don't make laws, then everybody becomes lawless, is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to overburden people. I know all about the pandemic, you know what I mean? And a lot of different things that we had. But the way it is situated and the way it is set up to move on and ahead of time, a lot of people have been, if you wrote to the government and they had different programs for you for PPE or whatever programs, that a lot of people were stealing that money, but that's a different story. But if you went and you took care of your business and you did your stuff the proper way, there's nobody trying to hurt anybody. But what I'm saying is, when you do this, what you do is the companies benefit from it, because then they don't have to kick in like they have to kick in, because they can, well, if I don't pay mine on time, they're gonna cut me about 4% or points percentage of stuff, and then that's how government goes along the way. I know people would like to think that it's very simplistic, but government is not that simplistic on purpose. And so, and people talking about the amount of money. Oh, you know one thing? The amount of money we spending every night, we talk about this same issue, and we have these tax people out and have these people out, it's costing us money. Yeah, it's costing us thousands of dollars every time we come out, and every time we ask the different people to come out. We had another group last time. Every time we asked them to come out, that's actually, we're paying them to be there that whole time too. We are. So, some of these things could be asked, I think, of you during the course of the day while you're working. And I think one-on-one, if people need the better explanations, I think it would be good. Thank you.
Councilman Freeman.
Council
Councilman
President?
Harris.
Yes. I'd like to come at this from another direction, and this is where Lena and, either you and or Matt might be able to help. There are programs that can help the individual homeowner with regard to difficulty paying property taxes. And as I understand it, there's the CARE program and the CDBG program. And can you speak a little bit to that?
You can have your chair back, Matt, if you want. It's up to you.
That's all right. I got used to standing now.
Thank you, Lena.
I can, I was a professional musician one time. I can dance and sing for you.
Please don't.
Yeah, there are mechanisms and funds available for income qualified individuals. So people that are truly in need, we can work on that and come back to this council with some options for you to consider. That would be my recommendation to accomplish what I hear all of you saying, that you want to help those people out that truly have a need. And so if you'll give us time to work that out and come back to you at a work session where we can discuss these things, I think that would be, I would love to have the opportunity to do that.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Council President?
Sure,
can
Councilman Brescher.
I just want to ask Matt a question. We need to do this, correct? Before February 1st, maybe?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Yes.
Lena.
The setting of the rate needs to be done before I start charging interest. I start charging interest on February the 11th. The tricky portion here is that I didn't notify the residents of anything else that you have decided. So if anything changes for that resolution that is proposed, then the residents needs to be notified by mail, each of them. So the deadline would be February the 10th.
Okay, so now if let's say we pass this tonight for this quarter, can we change it for the next quarter?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, because I know that there's other avenues that we just talked about. You know, I've seen the government when they come out to assist you. FEMA came out to assist me. You know, I don't know, $20,000 worth of damage. I got $1,500. You know, I'll be honest with you, government isn't there for you unless you are basically almost indigent. You know what I mean? If you're making $100 grand a year, but you can't pay the taxes on your house because your taxes are $30,000 a year, and you know your spouse just lost her job, you're not going to qualify for any of these programs. I know that. So I think we might need to take another look at this because, yes, I'd like to help the residents, but I don't want to put us in a pickle either. And that's why I asked, did we have to do this or... And I don't want to cause you to do a mailing to everybody, you know, all over. If you could do it when you send out your taxes, something like that, yeah, I could work with that.
The next taxes that I'm going to send is for the third quarter, so you have the opportunity to change anything there.
Thank you, council members.
Thank you.
Can we recap and have a motion to adopt R58, please?
I think, Councilman, you can even do the
Motion to adopt.
59 because, you know, I felt they were linked. We can do
Okay.
both together.
Motion to adopt?
Councilmember Brescher, do you agree R58 and 59 can be combined?
Yes, okay.
Councilman Patil is in agreement.
So then the motion, if that's the desire of the council, the motion would be to adopt resolutions 58 and 59 together.
Yep. Do you have a motion to adopt R58 and 59?
Motion to adopt 58 and 59?
Have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Harris. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
No.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Now we're on.
Moving to R83, Madam Clerk. R83 is a resolution appointing a zoning board member, term to expire December 31st, 2025.
I think we
Great.
can, in a council president, we can vote together with this. The reason I pulled this for the separate vote is just to thank you and this council who helped to interview these various members. Again, I'm relying more on your decision and the people who were with you to interview to make sure that they did the due diligence, that these individuals are great assets and they will be good for the zoning board. And you have done your due diligence to making sure that they are not linked directly, indirectly with the politicians or any developer, or there is no conflict of interest. If that's and I'm sure that you have those points considered before recommending this to this council. If that's the case, I will have no problem voting for these members. Just wanted to make the comment.
Councilman Brescher, are you in agreement to pass the three of those resolutions together, R83, R84, and R85?
I'd like to
Not
see
to
if you
pass,
could-
but to vote.
if you could do 83 and 84 together.
Okay. Councilmember Patil, we're going to do
Council
83.
President, I would like to do 84 separate.
Okay, now,
We're going to do 83. Let's go back now.
Okay, let's go to 80.
Make a motion to do 83.
Madam Clerk, just point of order. And Counselor, I have this. Can we just have a motion to adopt R83?
Motion?
Can I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thanks to council members. Madam Clerk, we're going to do R84. Can I have a motion to adopt?
Motion?
R84. Motion from Councilman Harris. Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Council Vice President Ship.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Abstain.
Abstain. Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Madam Clerk, we'll do RD5. Council members have a motion to adopt RD5.
Council President?
Yes.
Yes, I wanted this pulled for a separate vote because with the other planning board members and that, I did not know most of them. John Zoltez I did know, so I felt comfortable with him. But I believe appointing John Pointer to this position will make he'll be a very good asset to the board. And very proud to say that I'm going to enjoy voting and sending you there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, I fully agree that, the Councilman Pointer will be the good member on the planning board. He before becoming councilman, he was attending the council meetings for a number of years, and his heart is in the good direction, and I fully support this resolution.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Madam Clerk, do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Councilman Patil, second.
Second.
Councilman Patil. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Enthusiastically, yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Definitely yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Of course, yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Rich, I'm glad you didn't bring up the hours that John's going to be working on the next Monday nights, okay?
No, I didn't want to tell him about any of that.
Okay. Council members, we're going to open up to the public for oral petition remarks. We'll go by list. Mike Usack.
Good evening, Mike Usack, 91 7th Street. This is sort of a status on Raritan Valley Regional EMS. Raritan Valley Regional Emergency Medical Services, also known as RVR EMS, is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that has been serving Edison Township and the surrounding areas since 1935. We provide quality 911 emergency medical care at no charge. The members of Edison First Aid Squad Number 1, Edison First Aid Squad Number 2, and Clara Barton First Aid Squad have been volunteering since 1935, 1936, and 1951, respectively. The three squads have their roots in the Raritan Township Safety Council, which was formed in 1935. In 2009, the three squads formed Raritan Valley Regional Emergency Medical Services to more efficiently utilize our resources and better serve the residents of our township. We are able to provide our services primarily with the support and donations from the citizens of Edison. Our organization works closely with Hackensack Meridian Health, JFK EMS, to provide EMS services. We are dispatched by JFK EMS, but are entirely independent. RVR EMS supplements JFK EMS for coverage within Edison and the surrounding areas. We do not bill for our services, and all expenses are handled by RVR EMS. After being hit hard by the effects of COVID-19, we are back to providing EMS coverage 4 to 5 nights a week. Our members totaled 3,500 volunteer hours for the year of 2021. RVR EMS maintains a growing roster of over 65 members and continues to recruit. Our volunteer squad is made up of a diverse group of people who come from different backgrounds and experiences. We have students from Edison High School, J.P. Stevens High School, and Rutgers University, as well as adult members of the community, including parents and retirees. Many of our young members go on to become doctors, nurses, paramedics, and paid EMTs. Our goal for this year remains the same: to continue to provide quality volunteer emergency medical service in our efforts to save lives, to uphold our organization's core values of honor, compassion, and respect, to promote awareness of Raritan Valley Regional EMS in our town, and to learn and grow from each other to better ourselves as medical professionals and citizens. RVR EMS thanks the Council and the Mayor's Office for their support. Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Do you provide services to the football games?
Mr. Usack, you have to come back up. Please, thank you.
Among the many events And special activities that we do cover the home football games for J.P. Stevens and Edison High.
Right, I thought I seen the ambulance there, and is that part of Squad 1, is it? What's that?
Edison Squad 1, Edison Squad 2, and Clara Barton are RVR EMS.
You are?
And we operate under the umbrella organization as RVR EMS. It's just more efficient that way.
And you work with the township also, right? I mean, if the township needs assistance, you provide that to them.
Whenever we can, yes. We are often called by the police department or the fire department or other agencies within the township when they request an ambulance for coverage for whatever purpose.
Can I ask just one other question? Do you have a boat in Squad 1?
We do have a boat in Squad 1.
Oh.
It hasn't been utilized in 4 or 5 years because most of the operators have gone on. They have either retired or they moved on. We did use the boat for rescue and recovery on the Raritan River. But what we use it now at the present time is to have Santa go around the town and celebrate the holidays.
That's why I asked, yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Usak, for your hard work. Next, Maria Orchard.
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. Congratulations to all the members of the Open Space Committee, new members of Planning and Zoning. I look forward to working with everyone. Please listen to the community concerns. How are we helping our residents, seniors, and students in need with opioid and drug addiction? How are we as a community working with our diversity and inclusion with our residents, seniors, and disabled citizens? Now we have 3 plans for a new community center. What will be the next step? We need the community's input for beautiful Edison. We would need volunteers for community cleanups, cleaning the parks, and planting community gardens. Any ideas will be helpful as we plan this year's activities. Help us celebrate Earth Day with a sustainable green team. I look forward to meeting everyone on the next Eco Tours. How are we going to eliminate the spotted lanternflies coming in the spring? We need more bus stations on Amboy Avenue and Route 27. One bus station is in desperate need of repair on Amboy Avenue and Woodbridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. To the public, anybody else would like to have public comment? Please.
Rich Sweeney, Sutton's Lane. As far as like beautification in this town, I'd like to bring up 2 buildings within my 08817, which the gentleman spoke to. 1050 Kilmer Road, with the rust and the look of that building. I mean, you got a beautiful state-of-the-art soccer field down at the end of Kilmer. The Angel Fields are okay, but that building, I think Public Works is using it because all I see is bags of leaves piled up. And, you know, with all the development that's going on in that area, and I see foxes in my neighborhood, which is chasing them into the neighborhood. And the other thing is, I've been to the council meeting 5 times, and I've been to the Board of Education meeting, and I spoke about the green building by John Marshall School. Yes, Ray got back to me, Department of Public Works. Yes, Bob got back to me in water, because it was a pumping station at one time. And the superintendent got back to me. But the problem I'm having is I don't see no action. All I see is words. And like I said, I don't have any children in the district. My children grew up in the school system. But the side of that building, I don't want to look at it. I mean, when I walk my dog, it turns me off. You know what I mean? These kids, what impression are they getting of 08817? Coming on a school bus or driving the way the traffic is with school now with COVID, it's increased because people aren't taking the bus and they're driving their kids. But I don't know where that stands, and I'd like to have some answers.
Mr. Sweeney, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is this is a pump station, right?
It was because there's concrete poles that say water that go past the creek and follow all the way down directly into that building.
It's a township one?
I believe Bob was inside the building, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Ray, I guess Ray has answers.
Right,
to-
right, yes.
Hello. So last time we spoke, I told you that we would
Right,
paint that
I under-
building.
yeah.
The issue, the concern that we have is because of the age of the building, that it has lead paint. So when the spring comes about, we're gonna test the paint to make sure it's not lead. And then we will obviously go ahead and paint over it. If it is lead, then we'll have to remediate that before we can paint it. But it is on our open items
Well,
list.
the last time I spoke with yourself, you had said we ran into a problem, it's lead paint. But now you're saying something a little different. But believe me, I'm for the interest of these kids that look at this building every day. You know, I'm going half blind, so it doesn't, you know, but the impression it gives little kids
I'm not
coming out
following
of
you.
school with education.
Right, I'm sorry, I'm just not following you. Last time.
I know.
Last
A
time
lot
we
of, you haven't been, no one's been following me for the last 5 meetings. I've been to how many meetings?
I don't know, I've only been here
And
a
if it's
year.
lead paint, and it's by school, take it, remediate it right away.
That's something
Don't
that we
wait
will-
till the springtime where
We
kids are
just have
playing out there
Porter.
and it's blowing around in the playground.
Right.
Rich, one second here. Rich, we definitely will address the matter, and
Yeah, I
we-
mean,
we'll
you
have
know
a
how
separate
many times
meeting.
I've been here.
I understand your point, and I
as
can
far as
promise you.
as far as 1050 Kilmer Road, is there any plans in the works for doing something with that building?
I'm glad you brought it to our attention today. I know you've, in the past, I will sit down with the administration separately and get back to you.
You know, because when I was with the president, with the Edison Angels, my board that was in place, we actually fought for the deed of that property, the entire property. Because when Bill Clinton came to Middlesex County College in a helicopter, we actually gave him the history of the league. And but anyway, all that's you know, I just hate to see eyesores in the neighborhood.
You've done
you
some
know?
great things, and you have some great history back there. I
Because, you
understand
know,
your point.
08817 is a very nice neighborhood. I don't care
Absolutely.
what anybody says. But the thing is, there's a few eyesores that doesn't look good. You know, so why would a few don't take care of it right away? Especially if that's lead paint. And if you don't know if it is or it isn't, you better find out right away.
Absolutely, Rich. We'll look into it. I'll get back to you on Friday next week.
I want to congratulate you on your position. You look very presidential. in the dark-
Councilman Deal
You look
said that-
very presidential.
Councilman Deal said to
You
take
look
care of
very
you, so-
presidential in the dark suit there.
Try.
It's a compliment, Joe.
Please record that.
It's a
Rich, I
compliment.
have you on record, and you liked me, and I have also Rich
I-
liked me.
One other thing, through the council to Councilman Brescia, are you going to bring the ward system back up to the table?
Well, yes. At the last meeting, we had a discussion. The other council members required some additional information. So over the next 2 weeks till our next meeting, they're going to discuss and get whatever answers they need from our attorney. And at the next meeting, we'll take a vote. You know, that should give everybody plenty of time to sort through, you know, whatever questions they have. So it'll be at the next meeting.
That's great, because we need some kind of representation down in South Edison, you know? That's why I was for the ward system when Mayor Ristigliano tried to bring it to the forefront.
That's where the idea came from. You know, if every ward or every district in the town could have a Joe Coyle.
Can I answer before the bell?
I'm sorry, really.
I'd like to thank the township for hiring more women on our police department. And the reason I say that is because I come from a family of police officers, and women can work certain situations better than a male police officer. And I'd like to see more women on the council. I'd like to see more women, you know, but,
But we're almost outnumbered, Rich.
and one other thing, we have the greatest police department in the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, thank you. Members of the public, please.
Dr. Nasser, 59 Pleasant Avenue. I just wanted to clarify my position. I know that you might not understand that I am pro-development. I'm also pro-safety, and I also am pro-quality of life. What I am against is anti-overdevelopment and nonconformity, so just letting you guys know. Also, I'm aware that there are 3 of you, and it's a huge number this time on council, that are on the 08837. So that's Councilwoman Shipp, I believe, right? And Pointer and Council President Coyle. So I'm happy to see that we have that kind of representation. But again, I don't think that we've had 08817 in the councilship in the last at least 8 years. I could be wrong about that. All right, so anyways, I wanted to talk about a few issues as it relates to traffic and safety. In the Clara Barnes section by Edison Heights, there is that U-turn by Roosevelt Park. And I was wondering if there's a way that I know it's a county road, I believe, it's on Grandview. Is there any way that we can paint the intersection where they're making a U-turn, making a left, so it's like a no block so that people can adequately make a left-hand turn without having to wait 1 or 2 lights?
It's doable.
What's the exact?
I'm sorry, do you want to repeat that? I was clarifying something.
So on Grandview, when you are going south and you are making a U-turn to go across to Grandview to get into Clara Barn, there is a left turn. You can go left or right. If you make a left-hand turn, it's lots of times it gets backed up from trying to cross over Route 1. And so sometimes you're waiting 1 or 2 lights just to make that left-hand turn.
Okay.
So I was wondering if we can get the county to go ahead and put a do not block section so that maybe 1 or 2 other cars can kind of make that left-hand turn.
It's a council president, it's just a 2 white strips, so no people stop right there.
Okay.
And put the word stop there, so when they come from the other side, they will stop. So it will allow the cars coming out from the Route 1 to make a left hand. And I understand, you know, you're very, I would say, conservative, saying couple of signals. I have waited there for 4 to 5, and really it backs out all the way to Route 1. So it's really difficult turn there.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you should have seen me trying to get out of the, what is that, the Stop and Shop parking center. The cars just come right past the light and they just sit there. So we had to wait about 5 lights to get across Route 1. So I think Route 1 and the streets going back and forth is like a couple of problems in a couple of areas.
There are, yes.
Yeah, but to get a lot of that addressed, if you go to the traffic division for the, set it up with the police, the traffic division is back on and good because we hired more police. So, that's a good straight. People will give you a better answer of why it's not done.
Okay. Then I have some safety concerns with the schools. So I've asked a handful of students, which Wilson, where I teach, that they walk and bike across Plainfield Road, and it's kind of a hazard. It's hard to get across there when you're trying to get across Plainfield Road to go to Oak Hills Road, which is where Councilwoman Margot Harris lives. I was also wondering if there's a way to get sidewalks in that area. That's another thing to consider as well. But I do think that we need something there to help the students during after school or before school hours to pass Plainfield Road, because there's not a police officer present at that moment. And so maybe consider something with maybe flags or something even with a push of a button where they can cross and the traffic hopefully will stop, because traffic doesn't really stop for anybody, it doesn't seem. Or I was also wondering, and again, this is a county road again, so there's only so much control we have, and you guys can offer your recommendations, hopefully. There is no blinking 25-mile-per-hour school zone light there, and even despite there being 2 different schools, I know one's Metuchen, doesn't really matter, your school students anyway, we're worried about their safety. I was just wondering why those are not there, and how can we get anything there to help out the students with safety?
What I can do through the administration, we'll exchange some contacts. Captain Gerber's here tonight. Perhaps you two can have a discussion. And if Matt agrees, we'll have an offline meeting with you to go over these three particular issues. Is that okay?
That sounds good to me. All right, thank you.
No, thank you. Please, Sandeep.
Sandeep Ramakrishna, 36 Edgewood Road. First of all, congratulations, Council President,
Thank you.
Vice President, all the new council members, John Piner, Council Member John Piner for the Planning Board appointment, and all the open space members, Planning Board and Zoning Board members. What I want to do is build on what Mr. Nasir was saying. He has a gift of eloquent speech. I don't, so it won't be the same. But I want to build on what he said. There's a real issue of crossing Plainfield Road by there are about 2 schools there. One falls in Metuchen, which is St. Peter's, and one is the Woodrow Wilson Middle School. My son, a neighbor's daughter, and many other students walk to the school, right? They have to, when they walk to the school, they'll have to take the Oak Hill Road, which is right next to council member's house, and there are multiple problems there. One, from traffic coming from Metuchen, the speed limit's 25, getting into Edison is 35. There's an uphill where coming from Charlie Brown's, for example, towards the Metuchen, you don't really see people. So I've personally witnessed people running, crossing the road, right? And usually there's a crossing guard on school hours, but I can tell you 3 out of the 5 days, my son has extra clubs, and when he has to come back home, there's no crossing guard there, so he has to walk the Oak Hill Road crossing. It's a county road, so we will work with the county there, but this is a real issue. Few more tidbits which you need to consider, which we already talked about, the 25 miles to 35 mile zone. There's no pavement on one side of the road, so people who are walking, this is outside the school, people who are walking, biking, jogging are forced to cross Plainfield Road. And I can tell you out of experience that it's not a pleasant experience because the vehicles do not stop. There are trucks, there are cars, there's all kind of vehicles, they do not stop. And I've seen people run through this. I don't know if flags would make any sense. I don't know, maybe that's an experiment which we can do. But I've personally asked you to consider what we have on Route 27 by the Greenway, where you push the button and then it lights up. It's a visual reference. I don't think people, drivers specifically are, they cannot see people coming in from Oak Hill rather. So it's not on purpose, they don't stop, and this is a real issue. So I would ask you to consider how we can work with the county and what we can do. I mean, I know you've said that you will work with the administration to get it. I have one more topic on the resolution 83 and 84 on the zoning board. So we discussed this at length, right? And some of my fellow residents have spoken about this. I want to make few points clear. There's nowhere where it's mentioned that you need an industry experience or a professional experience to apply for zoning board. Nowhere mentioned, right? It's not said, it's not on the application. Zoning board is all about strictly following zoning ordinance and the municipal law, MLUL, right? That land usage law, that's what it is for. Unlike planning board, this is zoning board mainly focuses on variance. The fact that there were 13 applicants this time around, and most of the applicants were not connected to the industry speaks volumes on the fact that residents are, want change and they don't want business as usual. As Lori suggested, there are 2 other open positions, and I urge you to really consider either selecting somebody with people's interest and heart, right? Not of course, not the tree hugger, because we do need development to be done in the in Edison, but it's all about understanding the laws and understanding the ordinance. I can tell you of my experience, there were nothing discussed about the law, nothing discussed about the ordinance, right? I'm sure, the people in the industry are expected to understand this. I don't know how much they do. Perhaps think about that for the next election and have a real debate about what would you do in a certain scenario. What are the laws surrounding those certain scenarios, right? I know these can be taught, but the fact that people say that applicants with the industry knowledge are required, I do not agree. If they are, they have to be subjected to the same process as other people are. I yield my time back. Thank you.
Sandeep, Captain Gerber will get your number and we'll discuss if there's how many people are at that particular crosswalk there and see what something to be measured.
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's special circumstances after hours, but we'll look into it.
Thank you.
Is there any other members from the public? Seeing none?
Motion
can
to
we
close
move
the
to
public portion.
Be closed.
Motion to close the public portion. Councilwoman Shipp, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Motion to adjourn, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn. This meeting is adjourned.
What's that?